Ms. Elena Reyes stepped into Lincoln High School with a quiet confidence that few understood. Her figure was lean, posture upright, and eyes sharp, traits not easily missed by the students buzzing through the crowded hallways. She was the new substitute teacher, recently transferred from an inner-city district known for its rough crowds and tougher classrooms. Rumors had already started swirling by lunchtime, that she used to be in the military, that she had once broken a man's nose with a pencil, and that she taught not just English, but respect. But teenagers are predictable, and bullies always sniff out what they perceive as weakness. Inside 11B, the largest classroom at the end of the West Wing, a group of notorious seniors were ready to test her. Led by Braden Holt, the quarterback, arrogant and untouchable, they had made it their mission to break the new teacher by the end of the week. Elena walked into that classroom the first day without flinching. Her long coat trailed behind her as she placed a small notebook on the desk, then calmly faced the class. Whispers spread, jokes cracked. Braden launched the first taunt, "You sure you're in the right room, ma'am? The retirement home is down the street." Chuckles rippled across the class. Elena didn't blink. She simply raised one eyebrow and began the roll call. No reaction. No anger. Just calm precision. It irritated Braden. When she wrote a quote on the board, asterisk, "Respect is earned, not demanded," asterisk, he mimicked her voice behind her back. When she passed out assignment sheets, his friends tossed them aside. One even crumpled his and launched it like a basketball toward the trash. She noted every face but said nothing. What the students didn't know was that Elena wasn't just a teacher. Before switching careers, she had served in a special operations unit, where she was trained to control chaos under fire. High school drama. Child's play. On the third day, things escalated. The group blocked her path with chairs, mocking her walk. "Let's see how long she lasts," Braden whispered, just loud enough. Elena smiled, just slightly, and stepped over the chairs without a word. The class watched, waiting for her to snap. But she never did. Instead, she challenged them academically, catching them off guard with pop quizzes they all failed. "If you can't read directions," she said softly one day, "you'll spend life following orders from someone who can." That line echoed in Braden's mind for days. The power shift had begun. And by the end of the week, when Braden decided to finally push too far, to throw a basketball at her during a dare, everything changed. The ball came flying through the air as Elena turned from the board. With reflexes honed in combat zones, she sidestepped, caught the ball midair with one hand, and spun it slowly on her finger. The class froze. Her eyes narrowed. She walked toward Braden and dropped the ball at his feet. "You've got 60 seconds to apologize," she said, voice low and firm. "Or you'll regret what happens next." They laughed. But it wasn't long before they weren't laughing anymore. Blue Book Chapter 2, The 60-Second Lesson. Braden puffed up his chest, his friends hyping him from behind, their laughter hollow against the still silence that had suddenly fallen over the room. No teacher had ever dared challenge them like this. "Or what?" he sneered, crossing his arms, smirking like he owned the place. "You gonna cry to the principal?" Elena looked at the clock on the wall. 52 seconds, she said quietly. Time's ticking. Some students looked at each other nervously, unsure whether this was a joke or a dare. The air had thickened. Something was off. Elena moved calmly to the center of the classroom. Her eyes locked onto Braden's like a sniper zeroing in on a target. "You think you own this room," she said, "but you don't even own your own actions." Braden made a move to step forward. Just a step, but in a blink, Elena pivoted. One swift, fluid motion, and Braden was on the ground. His arm pinned behind him, his pride shattered in front of his peers. Gasps filled the room. 41 seconds, she said, loosening her grip but not letting go. "I learned this in my first week of training, how to disarm someone bigger, louder, more aggressive. You're not the first." She stood and helped Braden to his feet, but the silence was louder than anything she could have shouted. "Sit," she commanded. And he did. No questions. No sass. No pride. His boys didn't even laugh. 30 seconds left, she said, turning to the others. "Anyone else want to use their seconds wisely?" No one spoke. No one moved. Good, she said, her tone softening. Because now you get a second chance. Not everyone in the world gives you one. She took a breath and walked back to the front of the class. I didn't come here to embarrass anyone. I came here to teach. Respect. Discipline. Self-control. You may think you're untouchable, but life doesn't work that way. Life humbles you if you don't learn how to humble yourself first. That moment spread like wildfire through the school. By the next day, students who had never spoken in class sat straighter, listened deeper. Braden, once the leader of chaos, now took notes and nodded during lessons. Some said it was fear. Others knew it was respect. Elena had shown them power without raising her voice. Authority without arrogance. Discipline without punishment. And from that day on, the school wasn't the same. Students were kinder. Teachers were bolder. And the bullies. They were learning more than they ever had. One of them, Braden himself, stayed after class a week later. Ms. Reyes, he said quietly. I'm sorry. For real. No excuses. Elena nodded. I accept your apology. But earn back your respect with actions, not words.